In the 2024 session, the Arizona State Legislature passed HB 2720, which changes how cities regulate accessory dwelling units or ADUs. As a result of this new state legislation, Scottsdale now has to amend its zoning code to comply with state law. The state of Arizona grants cities and towns with local authority the ability to set zoning and land use regulations subject to state law. House Bill 2720 was introduced and passed by the legislature and signed into law by the governor in April 2024. Scottsdale opposed the bill as it was working its way through the legislative process. The city argued that local governments are better equipped to handle housing issues while still allowing for public input and preserving the unique character of the community. With the passage of the bill, Scottsdale must now update the zoning code to remain in compliance with the new state law. If the city does not comply by January 1, 2025, HB 2720 outlines that accessory dwelling units shall be allowed on all lots or parcels zoned for residential use in the municipality without limits. An ADU is a subordinate, self-contained dwelling unit that is on the same lot as a main single-family residential dwelling of greater square footage than the ADU. An ADU is designed for living purposes and includes its own sleeping facilities, kitchen facilities, and sanitary facilities. An ADU can be attached or detached from the single-family dwelling. ADUs come in many shapes and styles. The most common include a self-contained living unit built as a detached structure, separate from the single-family home, as well as a self-contained living unit built as an attached extension off the single-family home. For example, an ADU can be either on the ground floor or a second-level addition. The city must allow one attached and one detached ADU per single-family property. Allow a third detached ADU for parcels that are 1 acre in size or greater, if at least one of the ADUs is an affordable housing unit. Allow the size of an ADU to be 75% of the gross floor area of the single-family home or up to a maximum 1,000 square feet, whichever is less. The city cannot prohibit the short or long-term lease of an ADU. Require familial relationship between the owner of the main home and ADU occupants. Require on-site parking for an ADU, or fees in lieu of parking. Require an ADU to have an exterior design like that of the single-family home. Require more than 5 feet of distance from the rear or side of the ADU to the property line. Require improvements to the public street as a condition of allowing the ADU. Require permits, licenses, or conditions between private parties for use of the ADU. Finally, the city cannot require an ADU to contain a fire sprinkler system. Scottsdale does not currently allow ADUs. However, Scottsdale does allow for guest houses. A guest house is an accessory building used to accommodate guests of the occupants of the main building or house. For Scottsdale, some of the primary regulations that relate to guest houses include size and utility requirements, and the prohibition of renting such a space separately from the main building or home. The difference between an ADU and guest house is simply this. The size of an ADU is limited to 75% of the main house or 1,000 square feet, whichever is less, and an ADU can be rented separately from the main house. Scottsdale is proposing to exclude ADUs in areas surrounding airports as permitted by state law. Scottsdale has 2 airport vicinity areas, Sky Harbor Airport Vicinity and the Scottsdale Airport Vicinity, both are shown in red on the map. The Sky Harbor Airport Vicinity generally includes all areas of Scottsdale located south of Highland Avenue. The Scottsdale Airport Vicinity, a diamond-shaped area that extends generally north to Happy Valley Road and south to Lincoln Drive. All single-family parcels within these 2 airport areas on the map, as depicted within the red boundaries, are excluded from the requirements of the new state law. Homeowner associations may be more restrictive than cities with regards to ADUs. Homeowners are encouraged to review their covenants, codes, and restrictions for any further requirements or prohibitions regarding ADUs. Further, the city must require an owner of an ADU that is used as vacation or short-term rental after September 14, 2024 to reside on property. Finally, the city is proposing to restrict size of multiple ADUs, as well as ensure sufficient water supply and sewer capacity is provided. As a result of the proposed zoning code amendment and, as dictated by the new state law, for those areas in yellow, 1 attached and 1 detached ADU per single-family property would be permitted. For those properties 1 acre or more in size, shown in maroon, a third detached ADU would be permitted if at least one of the ADUs is an affordable unit. Formal action must be taken to update the city's zoning code. The city began this update process with the city's Planning Commission initiation of the zoning code amendment this past July. 2 public outreach meetings will be held on September 19th and 20th. The Planning Commission will review this item as an information item only on October 9th and hold a recommendation hearing on October 23rd. The zoning code amendment will then go to the full City Council for their consideration, review, and possible action in November 2024. The new rules must be adopted by January 1, 2025. After this has been completed, in early 2025, the city will pursue an effort to amend its general plan through a separate public input and hearing process as a result of any zoning code changes that occur with this zoning code amendment. Visit the link at the QR code provided to see the full version of the new state law, review the proposed draft zoning code amendment, provide public comment, and stay up to date on the public hearing schedule and continued opportunities to provide public input. Thank you for your interest in Scottsdale's efforts to comply with state law.